I'll move on to a very different territory, and I'll speak about Indian situation and the ways in which certain visual forms have emerged. At the same time, let me also say that the normative with which we live in India has become so problematic that it does not empower you to think or rather address the inhumanness which exists in the society as well as in individual. Say for example, the lynching, the mob killing, the collective rapes these days, and the ways in which the spectator becomes a mere spectator where there is an aspect of pleasure involved in it. So basically the pleasure is derived in killing and lynching and rape. So that's the society we are kind of having. And there is another world which exists apart from this, and I am going to go into the darker territories of those lives. Sorry. So I am going to go into the darker territories of life. First I will begin with a very historic nature through which certain things have emerged in India, and I go back to this Pune Pact, and this is a very important Pinak Bani who is an interesting artist who studied applied art and then went in making this kind of a graphic works, mainly computer graphic works. So this artwork is inspired by the ways in which eulogization of the national freedom struggle is constantly showcased as example of non-violence movement. The shelves on the left displays archaeological remains of great freedom fighters of ideological prehistoric era of Swaraj, while on the left poses a reproduction of famous ape with skull sculpture with other ahimsa, that is non-violence heritage objects, along with framed copy of the Mahatma's own mouthpiece Harijan. An anytime exit sign, this is anytime exit sign, leads to the open playground of a historical merry-go-round of imperialism, state socialism, communism and communalism, depicting the natural course of history of everlasting instinct of colonialism. So it's a very interesting constructive critique of a national movement vis-a-vis that of the whole logic of the post-colonials, the ways in which they projected the entire freedom struggle. Then there is another work, this is Havoc for Ram Rajya, which refers to the Round Table Conference and where it is shown how Gandhi opposed that separate electorate, and here is a person, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, who is holding a key and a lock, and that's where the temple entry movement becomes at large and gets propagated, and that Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya gets involved in saying that yes, we would like to open our temples, but don't go for the separate electorate. So that's a very scathing attack visually. And then going back to the kind of a Ramayana where you have Hanuman going and burning the palace of Ravana. So here are those people who are burning. So it's a Hanuman who is burning this whole logic of separate electorate. So it's a question of representation that begins, and there is a historical consciousness to it, and how this historical consciousness gets represented and also interpreted by the claimed intellectuals. Say for example, in India, we got freedom at both Pakistan and India got freedom at the same time. Theirs is 14th August and ours is 15th August. Why it is so? Nobody questions. Nobody questions this logic. Just because it is based on Panchang, we have 15th August. This is the reality. But our historians, including Ramchandra Guha or Bipin Chandra and the progenies of the Bipin Chandra and whole lot of the claimed progressive historians, have never mentioned about it. Why you are so scared? Because it is your normative that forbids you to see the inhuman behavior and thinking within yourself. So this is how this, I mean, there are a lot of things. I won't go into the entire visual analysis because I have a very short time. So this is another one, quite an interesting work, Organic Intellectuals by Pinag Bani. Now here is a Brahmin's household, typically having a puja and everything. So on one hand he is holding Tilak, Lokmanya Tilak, and another hand he is holding a Marx. And let me also say that how many Maharashtrian Brahmins really see or really looked at the conflicting cultural elements within Pune that happened with the rise of Phule movement vis-a-vis that of the emergence of Tilak. And therefore one of the writers, he wrote Bhatmanya Tilak. That's the book he wrote, Bhatmanya Tilak. It's an interesting book. These are all the small books which are in circulation, and they are the ones who are questioning the whole meta-narratives of historical consciousness which is being propagated and which is being textualized in the modern day politics and also in the academia of our institutions. Now this is very interesting one, that the child is reading Gramsci, and that too upside down, Prison Diary. And then when one can see as to how, despite reading Gramsci or for that matter Marx or anything, the whole idea of sacred and divine doesn't go out of it. There is no constructive critique to the whole tradition of sacredness and divine, and therefore there is even no constructive critique to the whole Vedantic logic or the Vedantics that is being followed, which is being propagated, including that of the Sadhguru lectures, or for that matter including that of Baba Ramdev's exposition of yoga, or to an extent of starting or even propagating yoga as a very constructive pedagogic exercise, and without referring to works of Vasubandhu, because Vasubandhu is the one who writes the Abhidharma Kosha Sangraha, and Patanjali derives the whole vocabulary from Abhidharma Kosha Sangraha. So these are very interesting interplays we have, but it does not empower you to look at differently, or for that matter see those cultural constructions.